Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we've got another of these tessellation puzzles to have a look at today. This one is called Accounting Circles Tessellation, and it's by ChinStrap, and we've had a lot of recommendations to try this, including from a couple of absolutely brilliant constructors who tell me that this is a superb idea. I've only done one tessellation puzzle before, and I have to say, I find them fascinating, but I can't claim to really have grasped the underlying ideas in them yet. So I'm hoping that this excursion into tessellation land today, will at least allow me to garner a bit more knowledge about how they work. It's got 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty, and in fact, I found it on Logic Masters Germany before I turned on the webcam, and I snipped some comments. So you can see here, Juggler, who was one of the people who actually emailed us to recommend this, says it's an extremely cool idea. Sudoku, Marty Sears says it's a beautiful construction. I mean, this should be very good. It should be very good indeed. And I'll read you the rules in a moment or two's time. Now, what can I tell you about before we kick off today? A few things just to trot through. A week tomorrow, we are going to be doing a live edition of Cracking the Cryptic at the Stratford-upon-Avon Literary Festival. There are a handful of tickets left, so if you'd like to come along, we'd love to see you. Check it out. I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen. On Monday evening, we're going back to the Blueprints Mansion at 10 p.m. UK time. Yeah, that is right. Actually, that has reminded me. Tomorrow, the clocks change in the UK. So if you are in a territory where clocks do not change this evening, the Cracking the Cryptic videos tomorrow will seem to be at a strange time. So I think our clocks go back. So yeah, make of that what you will. And I apologise if anyone gets cross about the videos not appearing to be on time tomorrow. Anyway, I've talked about blueprints. The solution videos are over on Patreon now for the Skunkworks Sudoku hunt, which was our competition for this month. Actually, we must pick the winners. We haven't done that yet. So we'll pick the winner. Hopefully, we'll announce that in the next day or two. And and on the 1st of November, we've got a brand new competition starting. So there's a brand new Sudoku hunt incoming for the 1st of November, which is now not terribly far away. And I've got 2 birthdays to do today as well. So let's do those. I'm going to say a very happy birthday to Bernhard. Bernhard, you've turned 41. I think 41 today. I've extrapolated that from previous messages I've had from your wife, Kirsten, over there in Austria. And I remember Bernhard and Kirsten very well because I was involved in the proposal. So Kirsten sent me an email a year or 2 back and basically said, I could mention that she would very much like to marry Bernhard if he was. She phrased it very, very. It was very funny. Something like if he's up for a challenge or something. So I mentioned this in the video, and then found out later that he'd been absolutely bowled over when he'd been watching the video in an airport or something, and had, of course, said yes. So anyway, Bernhard, I hope you have a great birthday today. And I hope the 2 of you have a lot of chocolate cake, and it is very heavily iced. Now, the other birthday I've got to do today is for Simona. Simona, your friend David from high school wrote in and told me that you'd suggested Cracking the Cryptic to him a couple of years ago, but he actually only sort of committed and started watching a couple of months ago. And he now wonders when he watches the videos whether you're watching too. And he's hoping to see you very soon, I think, this winter break. And he sent me the most brilliant photograph. Now, I did intend to show you this, and I can show you this. This is the 2 of you doing some sort of Matrix-esque skit. That's properly talented. I mean, that's a great photo, but actually, look, it's almost, a deliberate deflection coming in there. I mean, there's quite a lot of athleticism at work. So anyway, very impressive, very impressive. And I hope the 2 of you are able to meet up in the winter break. And Simona, I hope the chocolate cake today is extremely good and well iced, of course. Now, with that said and done, let's do some puzzle solving, or let's at least try to do some puzzle solving. Let's have a look at Accounting Circles Tessellation by ChinStrap. The rules are as follows. Fill each cell with a digit from 1 to 9. Cells sharing an edge can't have the same digit. Now the edges here are weird, aren't they? So that cell, if we make that a 5, that would mean... See, that actually affects loads of cells. Yeah, because it's an octagon, isn't it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so none of those 8 cells there, I think, could be a 5. But then some of them are obviously squares, and squares have only got 4 sides. So if that cell was a 5, it would only affect those 4. Now, each horizontal row and vertical column contains a non-repeating consecutive set of digits, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in any order. So that one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You see, if you've got the hang of tessellations, you will know that that column has seven thingies in it, with thingy being the technical term for cell. Yeah, so that could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It could be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or it could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It must be one of those things in order to be a consecutive sequence of digits. And those digits obviously can appear in any order. And that applies to rows and columns. So those digits there's 5 of those, so they all have to be different. They all have to be different, which is, I suppose, the way in which this is a bit like a Sudoku. But they have to be a sequence, a consecutive sequence as well. But they can be in any order. And then we've got some circles and some squares. Now the rules for these are as follows. The blue circles, can I click them? No, it won't let me. Oh, no, it won't let me. I'll just have to do it like this. So the blue circles and the red squares combined, form a complete set of the digits 1 to 9. So hopefully there are 9 of them. Yeah, there are 9 of them, so that makes sense. A digit in a blue circle indicates how many of that digit appear in the entire puzzle. A digit in a blue circle indicates how many of that digit appear in the entire puzzle. So that's interesting. And a digit in a red square indicates that the digit does not appear exactly that many times in the puzzle. Okay. For example, I'm glad there's an example. For example, if there were 4 4s and 6 5s in the grid, the 4 would go into a circle and the 5 in a square. Yeah, because there should be 5 5s. There have to be 5 5s exactly for it to go in a circle, and because there are 6 5s, it would have to go in a square. And because there are exactly 4 4s, in this example, there might not be 4 4s in the real puzzle. If there are 4 4s, then 4 would go in one of the blue circles. Okay, I sort of understand, I think. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. Is this some sort of play on the secret, is my first thought. Is that could be a total nonsense, what I've just said. All I'm thinking is, actually no, this is going to be very complicated. Well, let me explain. The secret of Sudoku, which might not be the secret of tessellation, but might be. No, it's not relevant here. It's not relevant. No, it's not relevant. I'm so sorry. I'm being dumb. What I was going to say is the digits 1 to 9 sum to the number 45. That is the triangular number for 9. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 is 45. Now, but in this puzzle, well, how many cells are there? There are 25. Oh yeah, this is weird, isn't it? Because I can now, as I sort of try and stare at the grid, I can see there's a 4x4 lattice of squares. So there must be 16 of those. And there's a 5 by 5 lattice of octagons, so there must be 25 of those. So there are 41 cells. So there are 41 cells, but there's an unknown number. So if, for example, 7 was in a red cell, I don't know actually. I can't get, no, that's not feeling very doable to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, there are 9. There are 9. I'm going to call them 9 rows, but there sort of are. 1, 2, 3. I mean, I know it's a bit silly to call that a row, but it is a row in the sense it could. Oh, you could. Hang on. If you did put 9 in there, you couldn't. Right. Okay. I have got something now. Right, there are 9 rows. I'm going to call, I know it's silly to call that a row, but there are 9 of them, I think, if we count down. This is row 5. Is that got, that must have 9 cells in it, because there are going to be 9 columns because of the symmetry. Right, so this row, sorry, my brain is jumping all over the place here. This row contains the digits 1 to 9 once each, because there are 9 cells in it. And this column is going to have the same principle. Now, but here's the point. I can't repeat a digit in any row. So the question I want to ask is it possible that there are 9 9s in this grid? Now, for there to be 9 9s, I would have to put a 9 in every row. But if I do put a 9 here, I don't think I can put a 9 in any of those 3 cells because of the touching rule. Cells sharing an edge can't have the same digit. So that means, this is huge. This is a huge deduction, because that doesn't just apply to 9. It's going to apply to 8 as well. If I put an 8 in here, I can't put an 8 in there. But the grid is symmetrical. So if I put an 8 in there, I can't put an 8 in there. And if I put an 8 in any one of these 3, I can't put an 8 in there. So these 2 rows contain an absolute maximum of 1 8 and 1 9. And these 2 rows have the same property. So what is the maximum number of 8s or 9s we could include in this puzzle? Well, it's going to be 1 for these, 2 for these, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is the maximum. 7 is the maximum, in fact, of any digit in this puzzle. And that's beautiful, because now we've done it. Well, we haven't completely solved it, but we've cracked it open, because I don't think it's possible to put a correct number of 8s or 9s. So 8 and 9 do not live in blues. So 8 and 9 live in red, and the rest of the digits are the digits 1 to 7. Now, but now can we use a different secret then? Because now we know the correct number of, for example, 4s in this grid is 4, because 4 appears in a blue cell. So the digits that are going to appear the correct number of times are the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And they are going to consume 28 cells, because there's going to be 7 7s, 6 6s, 5 5s, all the way down to 1 1. Now that means that there are 13 cells in the puzzle that have 8s and 9s in them. Right. No, I was about to say something. I don't think it's true. Don't think it. Oh, I'm not sure whether this is true or not. There can't be as many as 8 eights. We've worked out that the maximum there can be of any digit is 7. So we've got 13 digits to figure out. So they're going to be divided 7 of one digit and 6 of the other. Because if we went unless it was 8, it could be 8 nines maybe. No, it can't be 8 nines. It can't be because of the same principle. It can only have a maximum of 7 of any digit, so it doesn't matter. So, but if I put 7, I'm not sure whether what I'm about to say is true. What I was going to say is if I put 7 eights in the puzzle and 6 nines in the puzzle, yeah, maybe that is possible, because I was thinking that whenever I put a 9 in, because of the Rembanic nature of the rows and columns, whenever you put a 9 in that row, I was going to say you have to put an 8 in. But actually that isn't true, is it? Because if I do put a 9, well, that's a bad example, but let's say I've put a 9 there. Then I don't have to put an 8 in that row because it's just a single thingy. So I could put 8s here. I'm not sure. I think my gut reaction says there has to be more 9s in the puzzle than 8s. But maybe that's not true because of these single cell possibilities. Although only one of those could be a 9 or an 8. So if hang on, actually no, hang on, sorry, neither of these can be a 9 or an 8, because that would repeat 9 and 8 in this column. Right. This is so clever, ChinStrap. I'm being really, I know I'm being slow about it, and I'm sorry, but I'm slowly building up the building blocks that might let me do things, because the fact neither of these can be 8 or 9 means that from a purely a row perspective, any 9s that are placed in this puzzle will be in rows that have more than one digit in them. So say I did decide to put a 9 in that row, what digit must I also put in that row? And the answer is 8, isn't it? So actually, for every 9 that appears in the puzzle, there must be an 8. So how could we put 7 9s in this puzzle? We couldn't, I don't think. Neither, because the 7 9s would be in these positions or in those rows. Each one of those would have an 8 associated with it by Renban logic, because if I put a 9 there, I must have an 8 in the row, and there would also be 7 8s. So in fact, I'm now sort of changed my mind. I think there are 7 8s and 6 9s in the puzzle. And, right, 7, can I put that up here? 7 8s. I'm going to do that. 7 8s, 6 9s, and everything else is its correct number, I'm going to claim. Okay, so where's 1? That's a very easy question. Because 1 has to appear in a circle. But it also has to appear in this row, because that's a 9-cell row. and it has to appear in this column because it's a 9-cell column. So if I was to put this a 1 here, for example, then the one that I would put in this column, which couldn't now go here, would be a second 1 in the puzzle. There is only one 1 in the puzzle, so that goes there. So maybe it's it's 2s that are more constrained than 7s. I'm not sure about that, but let's think about 2s. So 2s, yeah, well, nearly. I was going to say that 2s have to appear, and it's true, there has to be a 2 in this row. There has to be a 2 in this column. The colours are beautiful. And they are the 2 2s. Right. And as there are only 2 2s, so there is a 2 in one of those cells, because there must be a 2 in a circle. If we were to make this a circle 2, there would be at least 3 2s in the puzzle, because there must be a 2 in here and there must be a 2 in here. Okay. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. I don't know. Is it 3s then? I don't think it'll be 3s, but it could be. I mean, there's going to be a 3 in this column. There's going to be a 3 in this row. And yeah, and there's going to have to be a 3 in a circle, but maybe this is a 2-3 pair. I'm not sure is the answer. Okay. Or maybe I've got to actually just pencil mark this. So do I know what these are? I know there must be a 7 in one of those, because this is a Renban, isn't it? So, okay, so there is definitely a 7 in one of those cells, and they are from 6, 7, 8, and 9. Because they could be a 6, 7, 8 triple, if this is an 8, that's possible. Or they could be 7, 8, 9 in some order, but there is definitely a 7 in them. Okay, that's probably important. I don't know actually. It's a slightly odd puzzle, this. Is it something to do with the hang on, what digits do we know have to appear in the long? Yeah. No. Because there are overlaps as well. Okay, I was about to start pontificating about 5s. Yeah, I mean it is a valid point actually. Because in that column there are 5 digits that are part of a Renban. So it's a 5-digit sequence of consecutive digits. So even if it starts with a 1, which actually I don't think it can, but if it did start with a 1, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if it started from 9, on the other hand, it would be 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So there is a 5 in that column, and that logic must be the case for any column that has at least 5 digits in it. So the 5 5s, and we know there are only 5 5s in the puzzle, are in that lattice. But the same token, I could apply that in the rows as well. So the 5 5s are also in that lattice. So the 5 5s in the puzzle actually are in the middle lattice. So So, okay, that's interesting. So if this, for example, was a 5, that would be wrong. So that is surely important. So the 5, the circled 5 is in one of those, I think, by that logic. That is right, isn't it? Because there must be a 5 in there, 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 and there must be a 5 in there. So there can't be 5s in those. But if I just rotate the grid and apply that logic in the columns, I'm going to rule 5s out of these. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that is correct. But then, okay, but then we've got, was it 7 cells in the columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So a 7-cell column or row, which is going to be this one, has to have a 3 in it. Because, yeah, if it starts with 1, it obviously goes from 1 to 7. If it starts with 9, it gets down as low as 3. It would just be missing a 1 and a 2. Right, so we've got to put... I've got to put 3s. I'm going to play noughts and crosses. Oh, it's terrible. I don't like that colour for some reason. Okay, let's do that. So, each of those rows and columns that I've just highlighted has to contain a 3. But sorry, I'm just trying to work out what I think that means. Because the other thing that we've got to be careful of here is I've got to put a 3 in row, what I'll call row 5, this one, and a 3 in this column as well. But I can only put, this is weird, I can only put 3 3s in the puzzle. Okay, so how can I do this? That's not easy to do, actually. Okay, because one way I'm seeing that is that in column 5, I'm going to call it column 5, I mean, it's a ludicrous thing to call it, but in column 5, there must be a 3, because it is the digits 1 to 9. In this row, there must be a 3. And yet, I also need to put a 3 into every single one of these. That's quite a lot of... I could put a 3 here. I'm somehow going to have to use these overlapping octagons, aren't I? Because if I did put a 3 there, for example, I don't think it's going to work to put a 3 there, but let's just think this through. If I did put a 3 there, I've dealt with this one and I've dealt with this one. I have not dealt with row 5 or column 5, and it would be impossible, actually, wouldn't it, to only put 3 3s in the puzzle. I could put a 3 there, I could put a 3 here, but I haven't managed at that point to put a 3 in column 5 at all, and I haven't managed to put a 3 in this row at all. So that is not a 3. It's impossible to be a 3. So I think I've got to get super efficient in terms of my 3, in terms of addressing the 3s. I feel like that's going to have to be a 3, because that's at least going to take care of this one and this column at the same time. I mean, I don't quite know how to do this, but just from a colouring perspective, there's going to be a 3 in purple for sure. I've lost the lattice nature of green by doing this. It doesn't look as good, does it? But there does have to be a 3 in purple. There does have to be a 3 in green. That's 2 3s. and there's only one more 3 in the puzzle. And wherever I put that 3, I have to cover these 4, that collection of rows and columns. There has to be a 3 in all of them. So obviously, if I put a 3 here, actually I've got to make sure also I put a 3 in a circle. So if I put a 3 there, that deals with this, and it deals with this. And then I've got to put a 3 in column 5. So the best one would be there, which would take care of this one and this column. I've got one more, yeah, okay, and then I could put a 3 there, and that would do it. So that arrangement of 3s is possible and achieves the objective. And if I didn't put a 3 at an intersection, one of these octagons, well, certainly that's going to give me an insurmountable problem. Because after I've put a 3 in column 5 and row 5, yeah, the problem is that column 5 and row 5 only allow me to address 2. Yeah, this is the way to articulate it. Column 5 and row 5 only allow me to address a maximum of 2 of the noughts and crosses lines, and there are 4 of them. So my third 3 must address the other 2 lines, and therefore is in one of these positions. And because this isn't a possibility, in this column, the most efficient cell is this one, because that at least does effectively 2 lines. Then I've got a choice of these 2. So maybe it could be this one, and that's it. And it could have been by symmetry. It could have been those 3. That would deal with all 4 lines. Or effectively 6 lines. There's 6 lines to deal with. So we have to be putting them at the intersections of these 6 lines. Any 3 can be at an intersection and deal with 2 lines. So we must put the 3s at intersections. But we've also got to do it in a way that overlaps as well with a circle. Which circle is available? This is no good. That doesn't do 2 lines, so it's impossible. So this is the only place. This is so beautiful. It's really clever logic. That one is then forced. So that does that line, that line. This line does that line and that line. And we've got that is the third 3. There we go. That's how it must work. I mean, I know I've been slow to that, but that is logical. And I think I did get there in the end. Now that's a 2 because we knew one of these was a 2. Now, okay, maybe that hasn't. So these squares are now the other digits, 4, 5, 6 and 7 in some order. Okay. But now, now I've got a problem with 8s, don't I? Is that wrong? I think my logic here is saying very clearly I've got to put 7 8s in this puzzle. And there are effectively 9 rows, and those 2 rows don't have 8 in them. So every other row, I'm not going to talk about columns because I don't seem to know what these are, so the columns don't work as well, but every single other row has an 8 in it. And that means this row has an 8 in it. And that can't be an 8 because we know 8s are miscounted, so I'm going to claim that is an 8. This, if that's correct, that is just lovely. It's absolutely lovely. Now this, therefore, this has got to go 8. Well, that can't be 9, can it? It can't be. So this, yeah, this is absolutely mighty. I've got it. I've got it now. So this has to be 6, 7, 8 because it can't contain a 9 because of this circle. The selection of that circle, by the way, if that's the point of that to stop it being a 9, that is so beautiful. Oh, hang on. Well, now that digit sees 6 and 7. It touches this 6, 7. So that's 4 or 5. That digit also touches 6 and 7. So that's 4 and 5. So this digit is... Oh, this is it. There you go. Look at this. Look at what this is doing. This is so beautiful. Now there's a 7 touching that digit. So that's a 6. That's a 7. That's a 6. That's not a 6 anymore. That's not a 6. These are 7, 8, 9. But more important than that, even, surely, is the fact I've got to put 6 9s in the grid. And I've now not got a 9 in this row, I've not got a 9 in this row, and I've not got a 9 in this row. So every other row in this puzzle has a 9 in it, and therefore I know exactly its Rembanic nature, and that cell is a 5, because that's a 5-cell string that definitely contains a 9 by logic, and therefore it's the digits 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and can't include a 4. There we go. Okay. Right. That probably does something. I mean, I'm tempted to pencil mark this, actually. That is 6, 7, 8, 9. And that 6 does see those two. And that 8 sees those two. And I'm sure we can do better than that, he says. I don't know how. I'm not sure. I mean, this column. Do I? Oh no, I don't know whether there is another 2 to come. It's obviously in here. Ah, that's lovely. Right, here's a little point. I've put all the 3s in the puzzle that I'm allowed to put in. So what would happen? I've got to put a 2 in row 5. If I put it in any cell, any of those cells... Ah, no, maybe that one's okay, actually. Yeah, sorry, maybe that one's okay. Because that one would have a 3 in its column. Because we've already put it in. If I was to put a 2 here, there would have to be a 3 in this column, and that can't exist. Ah, okay, so I can't do that. I thought I could conclude that 2 had to be in one of those cells, but I don't think that's valid. Alright, let's try something else then. What digits do we have left to put into the circles? We've done 1, 2, 3. 8 and 9 are out. 6 is out. So it's 4, 5, 7. And... Okay. That's not very good, is it? Yeah, I don't think that's the most brilliant deduction in Christendom. I've got, oh hang on, I've got 5 in one of those. Oh yeah, I worked out that couldn't be 5, didn't I? Because I think 5 has to be in the middle lattice. So 5 is in one of these 2 cells. Which is probably a nice deduction. He says, desperately trying to work out what that might mean. I don't know. Is this obvious? I wish I knew. I think that might have to be a 2. If this column, I have got an 8 in this column. So if I've got an 8 in it, I mean, I already know there's no 1 in it. There's only one 1 in the puzzle, and I've already got that. So, okay, hang on. What about this row? That row, we know there's a 9 in this row. So this is the digits 5, 7, 8, 9. And that isn't an 8. Which is, oh, it's almost really interesting. It's almost quite hard to put 6 into that, whatever column we could call this. 6 is either here, which I think might end up being a 2 in the correct grid, or it's here. Now this row has a 9 in it, so it is this is the digits 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And again, we can sort of see that the 6 is quite restricted in that row because of the 6 here dominating these cells. So 6 is in one of 2 places in this row. And we've got the same thing here, haven't we? But this row, yeah, I don't quite know how to think about that. Okay. And okay, and the 7th 8 is here, which is, so that does work as a strategy. So I think I've broadly understood the digits that have to go in the puzzle. But what I haven't understood is exactly what to put where. I don't know. I know that none of these is a 5, so if that was a 4, yeah, okay, what's that digit? This might be wrong, what I'm about to say, but I'm going to claim it can't be a 4. Because if it's a 4, what am I putting in its Renban? I don't think I can put 5 in here, because I know there's a 5 in all of these columns, and that would be 6 5s, but 5s are meant to be a correct count. So if I do put 4 in here, this has to be 2, 3, 4, and that's going to put another 3 in and make that count wrong. So that is 7. Neither of these are 7. So this is a 4, 5 pair. And if this is 7, that is not 7. And if this is a 4, 5 pair, that is not 5. And if it's a 4, 5 pair, we know the Renban here can't have another 3 in it, so it is 4, 5. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it doesn't have 9 in it. So those are not 9. So this is 6, 7, or 8. But apparently I don't know which one. Ah! But I can sort of see how with practice I might be able to get this sorted out. Now, what about this then? What's in this Renban? It can't have 5 in it. We've worked that out. So it must have 8 in it in one of these cells. And these are either 6, 7, 8, or they are 7, 8, 9. I sort of want to look along there and do Sudoku, but that's not how this puzzle works. Right, okay, so how do you think we use that little factoid to go further? I don't know, but it's going to be a case of just spotting. Oh, okay. in my brain, I keep coming back to the same question about 2. So 2 now is either here, here, or here in row 5, if we can call it that. Yeah, I don't quite know what to do with that either. Bobbins is the correct expression. What about? I've got nothing. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. Do I know? I suspect at some point I might have to work out what goes into the columns and then try and match that up with what goes on in the rows, because what I've got going on in the rows, I now basically know what all these rows contain. It's just some of them are so long, it's not a very practical thing. So I do know that 8 is in one of those two. See, something like that might be relevant, because that's stopping this cell being an 8. So I've got 8s in those, 8s in those, and 6s are in these. I don't think it's good enough. 5 in this column is a bit... Oh, that's a good point. That is nearly a great point. It doesn't quite work, but it's still a bit interesting. Where's 5 in this column? It can't go here, look, and there must be a 5 in it because it's a 7-cell column. So I'm going to say it's in one of those 2 cells. Now that means that this digit can't be a 5. And that means, again, this is a 5-cell column, isn't it? So this column's got to contain the digit. Oh, it's got an 8 or a 9 in it, so it's got to have a 7 in it. And that 7 can't be here and it can't be here, so it's in one of those 2 cells. But that doesn't mean that this can't be a 7, I think. It does mean this one can't be. Yeah, there's all sorts of weird logic I think you can do with once you get a digit or 2 with what it touches in terms of these octagons and the squares. So, okay, so there is a 7 in here. There does need to be a 6 in here, which is in one of those 3 positions. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, again, what about 6 in this row? That's got to live there somewhere. Can that be 6? If this was a 6, the 6 in the next column is going to have to be there. Oh no, hang on. There is a 6 in this column already. Ignore that. That's total and utter. That's absolutely wrong. Okay. So there has to be a 6 in here. But I don't think I know where it goes at all. And there has to be a 5 in here. And if this was a 5, it would have to go there. And that would... Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, that's weird. That's weird. Okay. So, the reason that doesn't work is that then I couldn't put a 5 into either of those cells, and one of them must be a 5. So let me just think that through again. So what I'm saying is, in this column, if this is 5, and that's certainly one of the positions it could be in, yeah, there's got to be a 5 in this column. It's in one of 2 places. If it was here, because I need to put a 5 in this column, that would be here, and then neither of these could be 5. That's logical. So this is 5. Now this is not 5. That might do a remarkably that might do virtually nothing, I'm afraid. That's a worry, isn't it? Now, in this column, I've got to put 4 into one of those cells. There must be a 4 in it, because there can't be a 2 in this column, because there must be a 2 in this row, and that's the only other 2 in the puzzle. So there's a 4 in here, and then one of these is a 7, 8 or 9, but goodness only knows which one. Oh, golly, I mean, it's so confusing. Okay, how many... Oh, I know what I should have done, shouldn't I? I know what I should have done. I should have thought about 4s more eloquently. I should have carried on going up in numbers once I got 3s, because 4s are also a problem, aren't they? I've got to put only 4 4s in the puzzle. I've got 1 here. Apparently I've got 1 in one of those 2. I've got 1 here, and I've got a 4 that must exist in row 5 somewhere. They are all the 4s. So nothing else in the grid can be a 4, which, now, does that do anything? It might not do, actually, because, well, I'm not sure. So 4 in row 5, I mean, it can't go here because it would rule a 4 out of one of those 2 cells. That's bad. We mustn't do that. But I think it could go there. I think it could go here. Oh, but hang on. Don't I have to put a 4 in this column? Yes, I do. That's it. That's it. Wow. There's a sort of it's an X-wing on 4s, I think. Because I have to put a 4 in this column. That is right. It's a 7-cell column. It must have a 4 in it. It's in one of those. There has to be a 4 in one of those cells. That is an X-wing on 4s. So this cell can't be a 4, but I must put a 4 in this column, and that is therefore a 4. And I think that's huge. The reason I think that's huge is, doesn't that give me an... Oh, I've got a... Oh, hang on, I haven't seen this. I've got a 7-9 pair, so that's a 6 as well. So that's a 7. So now these squares are an 8-9 pair. Now I've got a 7 weird pencil mark here. Yeah, because I've got to put a 7 in this column. It can't go in either of those. It doesn't seem to be able to be here now, so that's a 7. I've got an 8-9 pair. This 4 looks like it's touching these green cells, but I don't think it is. Also, I've now got to be more careful with 2 again in this row, don't I? Yeah, I should have gone to 4s. That's what I should have done. It was a natural step, and I just got waylaid thinking about other things. I think I got waylaid thinking about the fact that I knew how many 9s were in the rows, and actually I should have just focused on 4s, so I'm sorry about that. But the 4s have helped me a bit. There are no more 4s in the puzzle, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. That's all the 4s. Now, so that sequence there doesn't contain 1s, 2s, 3s, or 4s, or 5s, and it's a 3-cell sequence. So it's either 6, 7s, 8s, and 9s are the only digits we're allowed to include, and those can't be 7s, and there must be a 7 in that sequence, because it's either 6, 7, 8, or it's 7, 8, 9. That's really clever. Not of me, but that's a 7 then. Right, okay, we'll take that. There must be an 8 in one of these, so this can't be an 8, and has to be a 6. Now there can't be a 6 in either of these, so these become an 8-9 pair. And that's an 8-9 pair in this row, so that becomes a 6. The fact it sort of works is weird, isn't it? It's just bizarre. I've got an 8-9 pair in this column, so these have to be 5 and 6 to make that work, and that order is now determined. So what do I need in this row? I need a 2 and I need a 9. I can't put a 9 there, so that's a 2. That's a 9. That's a 7, so this is an 8. This column has got a 9 in it, so that digit is a 5. We have to put a 5 in here, so that digit is a 4, that digit is a 5, that digit is a 4. This row can't have 2 in it, so it's got 8 and 9. This is an 8 or a 9, and that's lovely. Well, ish. It means that's a 7. So now that's a 9, that's an 8, that's a 9, that's a 7, that's a 9, that's an 8, that's a 9. I don't know how this has happened. That's an 8, so that's a 9, and that's an 8, and I've done it. Well, I haven't actually. That's an 8. I've done it now. That's fantastic. That is a fantastic puzzle. Wow. That's stellar, isn't it? I mean, okay, I've not done it in the most efficient way, but I don't understand these tessellation puzzles properly. But the way that could be resolved, and there were all sorts of geometric considerations. I think that you could solve that really fast if you didn't get sidetracked. I think I should have gone straight from 3s, which were clearly important, to 4s, and I think I could have got the 4s quite quickly. And I got bogged down by thinking it was important to know that there were 6 9s in the remaining thingies. But anyway, forgive me. But do give ChinStrap all of the credit in the world, because that is a superb and very interesting puzzle. I loved it. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. I enjoyed the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.